A pleasure to introduce our next speaker. Gives me a pleasure to introduce our next speaker. His name is Chris Kinsel. He is currently the general manager of American Family Radio, stations 89.7 FM and 88.1 FM here in Richmond. He is the morning show co-host of Sunrise Show from 6 to 9, weekdays on WAUQ 89.7. He's been in the broadcasting industry for 30 years at stations throughout the country. He moved to Richmond in April of 2005, where he's been working with ministry and nonprofit community leaders to strengthen the family and to communicate an outspoken, resolute Christian voice through news and information and on and off the radio. That is his mission. He also is passionate about teaching his skills to anyone with a desire to learn the art of radio broadcasting. I'm hoping he'll give me some tips in a few minutes. And he devotes much of his time at the station sharing his knowledge and experience with the next generation of radio broadcasters. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Kinsel.
Stay on top of the issues
so you can make a difference.
American Family Radio.
Today's radio for life.
Let me hear a resounding God bless America. I'm honored to be here with you today. I'm a patriot. Do we have any other patriots here? I'm proud of our First Amendment rights. A right that we should cherish while we still have it. It seems evident to me that D.C. thinks that you are weak and you are uninformed. Together, I'm here to tell you, we are strong. Thanks in large part to the Richmond Tea Party. Let's hear it for them. I've been asked to speak on the fact that you and I have been endowed with certain unalienable rights, not from the feds, but from God. America's founding fathers believed that a widespread faith in God was the true source of America's greatness. They wanted to make sure that what happened in England would never, ever happen in America. That our leaders would not consider themselves, what should I say, a class better than the people they serve. Our founding fathers shook off the chains of tyranny over 200 years ago by divine calling. They cited over 27 biblical violations, and they wrote a document called the Declaration of Independence. Listen to the words penned by Thomas Jefferson in 1776. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Rights that among those are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Our government, I'm here to tell you, has no authority to trample on any of these unalienable rights given from God. The rights of a preborn, the rights of individuals with disabilities, the right of the elderly, the rights of business owners, the rights of hard-working Americans like you and I. And speaking of rights, does a person's wealth or lack of it, maybe sexual preference or even race, mean that one group deserves more rights than anybody else? It would seem that many in our government on many levels want to think that your rights are ordained by man, not God, as they try to tell us what we need, when we need it, and why. God never said that government should be involved in every facet of our lives. Our education, our banks, government motors, or now even healthcare, 1/6 of our total economy. And thank God for elected officials like Virginia's Attorney General Ken Cuccinelli that will stand up to that. Thomas Jefferson in 1771 said, God who gave us life, gave us liberty. 2 Corinthians 3:17 tells us that he is the giver of liberty. Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. You know, the preamble to our Constitution reads, "We the people of the United States." Remember, we don't work for them, they work for we the people. And I have 4 words for Congress. See you in November. Not so long ago, when there was a need, families stepped in first. And if that wasn't sufficient, then the church was there to help. A church full of people waiting to put others before themselves. Communities that looked out for each other. It seems that we in America now have over 40 million people on food stamps. That number is up 8 million from last year. Did you know that more Americans have claimed bankruptcy than have claimed to gone to college? What's wrong with this picture? 10 million Americans are now getting unemployment benefits. Are we going to help each other, or are we going to wait for the government to help us? Let's step up and lend a helping hand to each other. It's time that we get more involved in the affairs of the people that are in need around us. Let me quote our keynote speaker, Charles Payne. He said, "You don't restore confidence by giving somebody a welfare check." We need to stop this radical idea of being so dependent upon the government and instead depend on our innate gifts from God. Those gifts that include loving one another and helping each other. I have to tell you, in my line of work in Christian radio in the last 5 years, I've had the privilege of working with many nonprofits and ministry leaders throughout our Commonwealth. And I see a determination to organize and help those in need. From pregnancy resource centers in Richmond and soon in Chesterfield, to rehabilitation centers like New Life for Youth in the Rock. Local churches providing not just love and help, but basic instruction on living life to its fullest. How many people know that if the family fails, so does this great country of ours? Let's elect leaders that will help to keep the family together, not dissemble those families. I want you to know that we have a God-given right to keep the family unit alive and well, and to elect officials that will strengthen the family. And I challenge you right here today to continue to pray for our elected officials. Pray for future leaders that America so needs. A God-given right to love others enough to pray for them. Can you do that? And as you pray, I suggest that you not just pray, "God bless America," but I pray that you will say, "God help us to bless you." One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for being here tonight. And God bless America.
Rich Nilsson, he's represented...